Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at the Legend Gundam High Grade from SEED Destiny series. This is a kit I've been looking forward to very much because Bandai has been doing the revival for its SEED and SEED Destiny series, and this is one of the ones that I really want to see getting a new version. And before we start the video, I have to say that the gray on this kit actually looks more darker in real life compared to what you've seen on the video. And now let's take a look at the box art. I really like the box art because it shows how big the disc thing backpack is, and we got Destiny Gundam on the side. And we got Requiem in the back. Overall, I really like the box art because it makes Legend Gundam looks like the final boss of the SEED Destiny series. And yeah, it portrays that look very well. And let's take a look at the side. Of course, the dragons are pretty much taking up most of the space. You got the beam effects, which I really like about this, but however the stand does not come with it. So if you want to display Dragoons individually with the beam effects, you have to buy a few more extra stands. And the weapons are quite straightforward. Here's the side of the box, and some of how this Gundam came to place. Now let's open it up and take a look inside. There's a total of 5 plastic bags, 2 runners each. I think the blue here looks really nice, and the red is very shiny. You got a whole runner of beam effects. I really like this. Dragoons. And keep in mind, they are actually a bit darker in color than it appears in the video. And here we have the instruction menu. I don't have the older high grade of the Legend Gundam, so I can't really compare. So let's see the weapons accessories. You got the beam saber, beam shield, and the rifle. Quite straightforward. And you got some character speeches, colors. And usually I thought they would do the colors on the first 2 pages, but turns out the color pages are the last 2 pages. And then as you can see here, the runners are fully used. Last 2 pages, mainly for the Dragoon backpacks and the accessories. So you might be wondering if the backpack is compatible. Well, keep watching to find out. So first runner, we get the B2 runner with his swapping dragons. And keep in mind again, they are should be a bit darker in gray. Here's a C runner of the inner frame. And here's another Dragoon runner, except there's a chest waist part that is printed differently here. Inner frame again. This red. There's 2. The beams. The red again. Because of the lighting, this blue should be darker. Stickers, mostly for the gun. And here's the A runner. Pretty dull for the A runner, I guess. E2 for the backpack. So here's some box comparison. I think the high grade Legend Gundam box is quite big compared to a normal high grade. So here's a full armor, one that I haven't built yet, but here's just a little comparison. And here's the real grade Blast Impulse Gundam Spec 2 from the SEED Freedom series. Of course, the real grade one's bigger. Then moving on to the review. Here's a quick overview of the accessories that comes with this kit. Pretty simple. You got the beams, gun, extra hand, and the shield. So for articulation, the head can move only just to the front a little bit and back and forth. The shoulder armor actually gets a lot of mobility. You can put it quite high up. Then you can rotate the arms 360. The arms come up all the way as well. The backpack is blocking the back movement. And the hand can rotate 360 as well. Then this first bit, I guess, can also move up and down, which is quite rare for a high grade. And the backpack and waist movement is amazing. You can go quite low and sideways from the seat action system. Once you move it sideways, the side skirts also follows. The waist seems to be very sturdy with the backpack. And the back and front skirts move up and down, but the front one kind of blocks some movement from the leg. You can have it sort of sit, but the Dragonlings are blocking. You can also kneel. And the knees can fold all the way, like a kneeling position. But the backpack just doesn't really do it justice with the pose. And one thing I like about this is the beam saber can actually be stored on the side. Just like the anime, they reused the scene where Legend Gundam takes out the beam quite often, so I'm glad they added that detail in. The foot guard can move a little. And to take off the foot, you can see that, oh, you cannot bend over the tip, but you can move the joint sideways and up and down. Once you put it together, it can sort of still move sideways a little bit. There's more mobility inside on its own. But once you put it together with the rest of the leg, the mobility is 0 to none. You can sort of do a split. And one thing I like to point out is I like how you got these like great thrusters, and they are not stickers. I think 20 years ago they would have been stickers. And here we have the dragons. There's some on the side skirts. You can also be pointed towards, just like in the anime. And there's total of the 8 small ones and 2 big ones, so total 10 dragoons. And here's the point where if you press on it, it will lock the dragoon more tightly, like this very part. Whereas if you pull it, it will be able to go front and back. But it's quite loose when you pull it, so better to push it in so it sticks in place. See, this is sticking in place, quite sturdy. So the big dragoons has a hidden playability, which is really cool. You see these 4 small parts, you can actually cut them from the center to detach it, so that it can go up and down on the side individually. But I inserted a clip from the anime to show you how it looks like in action. So above the small big dragoons, there's a hole in the back where you can attach it to the base, and then you can put the beam effects on the big dragoons. However, I think the beam effect should have been green, not pink. And here is a movable beam, which is a first for me, and that slides in perfectly into the dragoon to create the beam effect. And you can also put the beam saber's beam on for the main beam part. And here's how to make it. They give you 2 except once. So you put all the 4 pieces into the center, and there you go. Now under the backpack, there are actually 4 attached points, 2 circles and 2 rectangles. And it can go 90 degrees and straight, and it can move sideways too. They can move individually and create this dinosaur scale looking back, quite movable compared to the Providence Gundam for sure. It can go front and back a little, and all the dragons can fold in. So this hole is really cool. It's for the gun holder. I don't think I've seen it in the anime, but this is such a good detail. I've always complained about Gundams not having a gun holder. Once you fold it, you can still kind of lean it towards, but be careful with the V-fin. What I would do is I would detach the 2 front dragons. Looks kind of cool. Looks like a dinosaur. And for another hidden playability, which is not mentioned in the menu, you can attach some other backpacks from the same SEED Destiny or SEED Freedom series. Not for the Strict Freedom. Not for the Infinite Justice. Actually looks really cool. And same goes for the Justice backpack. It can be attached to the Legend Gundam. I think the Justice looks cooler with the Dragoon backpack. Now moving on to the accessories, it comes with a beam shield. You can attach the beam shield by taking the white part or the light blue part of the fist armor and attach like so. However, the open hand part does not work. And this is the name of the piece. The open-handed one is different than the closed fist one. So this is how it is with the open hand. Looks like a thumbnail photo, doesn't it? The hand is really cool. Great for poses. Next off, we have the beam saber, which can be attached together. Here's me trying to do the pencil spinning trick. To have the Legend Gundam model, you use the open hand, but it's very loose. I don't know which part it should hold. As previously mentioned, the beam saber can be stored on the side thighs. And here's the beam rifle. There are a lot of stickers on it, the blue or red, and nearly all of the white on this rifle. These are stickers. And what I like about this is you don't have to take the hand apart, you can just put it in. And as well as putting it in the back of the backpack. Quite sturdy overall. Here are the size comparison. Next year's rivals, Strike Freedom and Justice. And here's the newer ones, the White Gundam and G-Quacks. And here's the real great Akatsuki. However, the Akatsuki's backpack is not compatible with the Legend Gundam. Here are more size comparisons with the Sea Freedom kits, the Zoc and Cavalier, and the Destiny Gundam and Silhouette. And here is a side-by-side comparison with the 2005 version on the right. You can see the color and proportion is so much better with the 2026 one, and also the beam effect parts are different. The 2005 one is attached to the backpack, and the 2026 one, it's beams coming out from the dragoons. So, in conclusion, there are quite a lot of pros about this model kit. First of all, the colors are really accurate, and it is very sturdy despite having a really big backpack. I love the beam holder, which is a really nice detail from the anime TV show. And it has a gun holder in the backpack, which I didn't think I saw in the anime. And I like the movable beams from the big dragons. Also, it is very posable, it can kneel, and the details, especially the thrusters, I really like them, which back then it would have been stickers. And so for the cons, not too much. I think the fist piece, the hand piece of the white or the light blue one was quite hard to take out when you want to put the shield in. And also, the Dragoon locking mechanism, it's a bit confusing because it's usually loose for me, or maybe that's just a me thing, I'm not sure. And what I think they could improve on is the tube on the chest part. Like, they could have given us a plastic tube to make it more anime-like. Like for the Master Grid Providence Gundam, it is a plastic tube, which makes it very, very close to the anime. But this is a high grade, so shouldn't expect too much. And overall, I definitely recommend this model kit because how sturdy in the price value and just very fun to pose in general. I like the open hand part, and it has a lot of playability and poses. And I haven't said this earlier, but the back, the connector holes for the Legend Gundam had a circle and a rectangular, so it should be compatible with a lot of the high-grade SEED series Gunplas, which is pretty fun. But yeah, so that's all I have for this video. Let me know if I missed anything or if there's anything you want to correct me on. But as always, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.